Hello, I'm Caede, your guide. Did you get a chance to see Mount Fuji? Today, I'd like to show you the Fuji Five Lakes. Fuji Five Lakes is the collective name for the five lakes located on the Yamanashi Prefecture side: Kawaguchiko, Yamanaka-ko, Motosu-ko, Sai-ko, and Shoji-ko. When Mount Fuji was registered as a World Cultural Heritage Site, the Fuji Five Lakes were also registered as part of the Mount Fuji's assets. This is because the lakes have been depicted in many artworks since ancient times and have played an important role in the worship of Mount Fuji. The Fuji Five Lakes were formed when the areas were blocked by lava from the eruption of Mount Fuji about 9,000 years ago. At that time, there were only two lakes, Utsunoumi and Senoumi. But after repeated eruption of Mount Fuji, the five lakes became what they are today around the 9th century. Utsunoumi is now Lake Yamanaka-ko, and Oshino-Hakkai, which is actually not a lake. And the Sea of Senoumi became Motosu-ko, Sai-ko, and Shoji-ko. So these three lakes are all located at the same elevation, 902 meters above sea level. There are no rivers flowing into the Fuji Five Lakes, so for a long time it was thought that the snow that fell on Mount Fuji turned into spring water that supplied the lakes. But it turned out that the water in the lakes has a different composition from the spring water of Mount Fuji. It was found that the water in the lakes comes from the rain that falls on the surrounding mountains, and it seeps into the soil and it becomes underground water that gushes out into the bottom of the lakes. Now let's take a look at the characteristics of the Fuji Five Lakes and the places you can visit around them. First is Yamanaka-ko, the largest and highest lake at about 1,000 meters above sea level. In the winter, whooper swans sometimes fly here. The Katsura River is located here, which is the only river flowing out of the Fuji Five Lakes. Oshino-Hakkai, a component of the World Heritage Site, is also located near Yamanaka-ko. The Oshino-Hakkai are 8 spring-fed ponds that are fed by snow melt from Mount Fuji. The water in Oshino-Hakkai is very clear, and on a cloudless day, the blue sky reflected in the ponds is stunning. Of course, you also have a great view of Mount Fuji from here. Kawaguchiko has the most places from where there's a good view of Mount Fuji. A lot of people come here to see Mount Fuji, so there are many inns and tourist facilities nearby. The lake has a circumference of 17 kilometers and is located at the lowest altitude of the Fuji Five Lakes. Still, it's at 830 meters, so it's cold and snowy in the winter. There are no rivers flowing out of Kawaguchiko, so this lake's water seeps out as groundwater. Oishi Park is a highly recommended spot from where to view both Kawaguchiko and Mount Fuji. You can enjoy different scenery from season to season. Cherry blossoms and Mount Fuji in spring, lavender and Fuji in early summer, and red kochia and Fuji in autumn. You can even see the base of Mount Fuji, so you can truly see how majestic it is. This mysterious object in the park is called Monument of Mount Fuji Gathering, and each of the 252 stones represents a different XX Fuji in Japan. The real Mount Fuji can only be seen by people in the vicinity of the Yamanashi and Shizuoka prefectures. That's why even those who can't see the real thing can find a mountain that looks like Mount Fuji in their hometown and call it XX Fuji. There are 252 of them in Japan. If you want to view Mount Fuji from a high place, I recommend the Kawaguchiko Fuji-san Panorama Ropeway. From inside the ropeway, you can look down on Lake Kawaguchi, and when you reach the top of the mountain, the majestic Mount Fuji is right in front of you. You can also see the sea of trees at the foot of the mountain and the Kawaguchiko cityscape. Just spectacular. On a sunny day, I'd love for you to see the view from here. You can even sway on a swing facing Mount Fuji. It looks so nice. For those who want to learn about the history of Mount Fuji and the influence it has had on Japanese culture, I recommend the Mount Fuji World Heritage Center, located about 5 minutes by bus from Kawaguchiko Station. There are various exhibits related to Mount Fuji, and you can see Mount Fuji from the observatory. Even if you can't see real Mount Fuji due to bad weather, you may still feel like you've seen the real Mount Fuji. Next to Kawaguchiko is Saiko. The west side of this lake faces the Aokigahara Sea of Trees, and it is a quiet and secluded lake. There are several caves made of lava near the lake, and one of them is a Narusawa ice cave. The temperature inside is an average of 3 degrees Celsius throughout the year, so it is covered with ice all year round. The icicles formed by water droplets seeping from the ceiling and freezing right after are a sight to behold. The inside is cold and slippery, even in the summer, so make sure to bring warm clothes. Located between Saiko and Motosuko is Shojiko, the smallest of the Fuji 5 lakes. When you look at Mount Fuji from Shojiko, Mount Omuro in the foreground overlaps, making Mount Fuji look like it's holding a child in its arms. So it is called Holding Baby Fuji. It is called Shojiko, or the Lake of Purification, because people who climbed holy Mount Fuji used to purify themselves in this lake. And the deepest of Fuji 5 lakes is Motosuko. At its deepest point, it's 120 meters deep. The reflection of Mount Fuji on the surface of the lake is magnificent. And the back of the current 1,000 yen bill depicts Mount Fuji as seen from Motosuko. Actually, this view was not taken from the lakeside, but from a location at an hour round-trip hike up the mountain. I worked very hard to get there, but I was able to see this very beautiful view. in Yamanashi Prefecture, where the 5 lakes of Fuji are located. A dish called hoto is a local specialty. The noodles are wide and look a bit like a fettuccine. These flat noodles, vegetables, and pork in a hot miso-flavored soup will warm you right up. If you feel cold after visiting the ice caves, you should definitely try it. It's not easy to visit all 5 lakes of Mount Fuji, but I hope I helped you understand the differences between them. Mount Fuji is an active volcano, and we don't know when it will erupt again. But thanks to these volcanic eruptions, we are able to see such beautiful scenery. I'll see you at the other tourist spots.